Okay.
Today, we're answering all your questions.
Yeah, this is going to be our first video on YouTube, and we thought we'd kick it off with a Q&A. You guys have a lot of questions about our friendship and our dynamics, so we thought we'd start with that. Should we get straight into it?
There's a fair bit of questions, mind you.
Yeah, bro.
Fucking hell, there's more than a fair bit.
Okay, let's start with the intro ones. I know there was one here. How did you guys meet?
Well, Jasmine found me on Instagram.
TikTok.
Found me on TikTok and we spoke on Instagram. And then we just hung out one weekend and the rest is history.
Have you guys ever considered getting together, or has anyone had feelings for the other? Look like a cute couple. So off the back of that, the first time we met, it was friends straight off the bat, and we both knew that. We were speaking every day since the moment we met in Sydney, and still no feelings.
Yeah, it's funny because I actually thought, I obviously knew this question was going to be asked, and it's weird because you can't actually explain it, because obviously from an outside perspective, we're not oblivious to what people see.
Yeah, we get it. I get the questions.
Yeah, but it's funny because the only people that understand that there's generally no feelings.
People in our lives that actually get to see us together and what we're like. They're the people that truly get it.
But until you're in that sort of friendship, you understand that. I don't know, it's something that you can't explain unless you're in a friendship with a guy or girl, and only those people can understand. But I'm also sure there is people that have friends and they've got feelings. But once again, me and Jasmine have dated other people. And honestly, from day one, she would talk to me about another guy, I talked to her about another girl if I was seeing at the time.
I still remember the first conversation we had. I was going on a date with someone and I told him about it, and he was like, oh, like we're talking about that? And I was like, yeah, why not? He said, I've never had a girlfriend where we've actually spoken about those things with. And I was like, oh, I don't care, like you can tell me. Well, and then he's like, well, if that's the case, then like that night we went out, I picked up this chick and I got her number, and I was like, the night we went out drinking, and he was like, the night we met, he picked up another girl, and I was like, why didn't you tell me? And he's like, oh, I wasn't sure, like, and I was like, no, it's cool, it's chill. And then from there on, it was just
but also too, even when we met, we were both in the stages of life of doing our own thing. I just got out of a relationship not long ago. I'm not sure what her situation was, where at that point we were 100% not looking for anything serious, and that was with me, even anyone, and same as her.
How sick are you of the relationship questions? Are they pissing you off yet?
No, it doesn't bother me at all. I mean, she cops it, not me. So I'm not too bothered. And I mean, if people are interested in that, then all means, keep asking away. Yeah. Nothing to hide.
No, it doesn't piss me off. I think over time people will eventually get it, and I think there's always going to be questions surrounding it. But at the end of the day, I don't care. Adrian doesn't care, because we know whatever they're assuming is so far-fetched and far from the truth that we're just going to let you run with it. Like, it is what it is. Last one on this topic, someone said, I'm struggling to understand, and I promise I'm not the only one, lol. You both have great chemistry, attractive inside and out, ambitious. You enjoy your time together, obviously. What is the element missing, if any, in your dynamic that keeps the relationship platonic? Do you want to...
It's sort of a good question.
A great question.
And I mean, the only way I can personally answer it is I don't know what's missing, but there's something that's missing. Whether it's the actual connection for that side of things or that intimacy, I don't know what is missing, but it's just not there.
I don't know what it is, but just lift it off you. I can definitely list you some. Huge for me, maybe not for you, but he's a really picky eater.
Hence why we do sweet Sundays, because that's one thing we can agree on in the food world is we love sweets.
But I've dated a picky eater, and I swear I would never do it to myself again. It doesn't make sense for me to date someone who would have restrictions around what they'll eat of mine that I'm cooking. We have that connection and that chemistry for sure, but I have that with so many other of my friends. You guys just don't see it. And so does Adrian.
And also, too, don't forget what you guys do see is, a couple or say 15 minutes of what you watch. And obviously we are great friends and we have a great time doing it, hence why we do it every Sunday and spend a lot of time working on this week's Sundays. But we have been at times where we have spent days together when we're in Europe and that with other people.
Oh, that's another question.
And we're gonna kill, that's what I mean.
We were going to kill each other last week. We actually had a conversation on the phone yesterday as well about all the things that we have said in the last couple of weeks, because we've been spending more time than usual together, because as you guys know now, we're in the very early stages of developing a product for Sweet Sundays, which is super exciting, which means we're officially going to be in business together. And we have spent more time than usual last week, and not in just a leisurely way, but in a business work way. So the dynamic is completely different. We can spend a bit of time when it's just like friendly and whatever, and we're just doing our own thing. But when we're having to converse and communicate with each other about ideas, it gets a bit much. And there was a time yesterday. But the great thing about a male and female relationship is we can have tricky conversations, and then the next day or a couple hours later be like, hey bro, like, and it be back to normal.
I mean, personally, I think you can do that with any relationship.
Of course, yeah.
That's one thing that it's one reason why we get along and we can stay friends for so long, because we can sit there and be honest and obviously be heated in the moment, whether it be for the hour conversation or go back and have a day apart or whatever, and then be like, you know what, it's not worth it, and we move on quickly. We have a lot of people hold on to things for so long and keep stewing on it to the point where it ruins relationships. That's one thing with us. We can sit there and say the truth or whatever we're feeling. You know, we might not take it the right way, but we can come back and be like, all right, it is what it is. It's not worth fighting over anymore or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's why we can stay friends.
Someone else asked, do you guys tell each other everything?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
That's probably another reason why we never date.
Yeah, just facts. We tell each other maybe a little bit too much, 100%. What irritates you about the other, and what do you admire about the other? So one thing you admire about me, one thing that irritates me. I already know mine, so I'll go first. One thing...
Get it out. Get it out. Don't be shy either.
No, I'm going to make it quick because we have a lot of questions. One thing I admire about Adrian, of course, is his mindset. I wouldn't be the person I am today if it wasn't being guided by his mindset, and he pushes me to be the best version of myself. One thing that irritates me is his indecisiveness. He can't make a decision to save his life, and now that I'm working with him, I need decisions to be made quick, fast, easy, and he is in his own head a lot and just goes from A to B to Z to F to G all the time. He's riddled with ADHD. It irritates me, but like, I understand him so I can work around it, but like, it pisses me off more than...
That's why I'm so creative, because I go from here to there.
Sometimes. Okay.
One thing that irritates me about Jazz, she went, there's not too much actually, but there's times where she's in a mood and she doesn't see that she's in a mood, and it will affect everything or the energy and everything else, and she will say things where it comes off more direct rather than she'll say things that'll come off probably the wrong way because she's in a mood, but she doesn't mean it.
So ultimately, because like being a woman, the fact that I'm a woman is what
essentially it's like having a girlfriend but not having a girlfriend. That's pretty much what this relationship is.
100%.
She takes a bite of everything I eat. I don't agree to that. That's also annoying too. She thinks she's entitled to whatever I have because we're friends.
Yeah, but when you're over at my house, it's no different. You help yourself. You think that mi casa, su casa. Yeah, exactly.
And admire, I'd say I admire how much she's changed since I first met her, and where she was then and where she is now. And you know, obviously a lot of people in general can say, I'm going to change, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and actually stick to that. That is something else. But for someone that's actually doing it, I admire that, because a lot of people don't change unless they really want change. And even when I met her, I don't know necessarily she wanted to change or was in that period of life, but she ended up changing for the better.
For the better, for sure. Thanks, brother.
Wanna hug it out?
Good guns. Yeah. Okay, what nationality is Adrian? He speaks like an Arab, but I'm thinking Italian.
I mean, there's supposedly some Italian in there, but my mum is half Greek, half Australian, and my dad is full Greek and was born over there.
So
but I mean,
Greek Australian.
People reckon I have an accent, and they always tell me that ask me I'm New Zealand, but I think it's just where I was raised.
Even my dad, Shani, like no one can really understand what you're saying.
I think it's just a WOG thing in Sydney.
If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go? And do you think you'd be able to travel together?
If I had to pick my next destination, it's probably a better question. I think Japan's probably going to be next. And maybe for a different time of the year, I can go snowboarding during the snow time and the blossoms, because I've been to Europe last year. But so far, out of all the countries I've travelled to, and I'm not being biased, Greece is probably still my favourite country I've been to. Yeah,
I also would really like to go to Japan. I want to go to New Zealand. When am I going to Tasmania? Do you think you could travel together?
Well, we have travelled together, and that didn't go too well, but there's a few circumstances.
Factors, yeah, it wasn't the fact that we were just travelling together. There was a few factors, but we went to Europe together last year.
She came halfway.
I met him and his twin brother James he wasn't meant to join us, but ended up staying. Well, he wasn't meant to stay. That's why I ended up meeting James, but he ended up staying. So then there was 3 of us for a 2-person holiday. You can imagine what that's like. Does Adrian have a day job as well as his business?
No.
So for those that don't know, Adrian has designed his own luxury sports bag, and it's called Pact. His business is called Pact.
And I'm going to give you guys a code. To get a discount.
Someone asked Pact discount code.
Let's do a Sweet Sundays discount code.
You gonna set it up?
I'll set that up. Just go into the website, type Sweet Sundays, and your discount's going to show up.
I'll put it on the screen. DC Sweet Sundays, www.pactsport.com.au. How much off?
We'll figure that out later.
Oh, James just came home. You want to say hello, James? Guys, this is James. This is Adrian's twin brother.
I got a full camera set up
Yeah.
too, what?
You gonna come say hello? Come down. Guys, this is James. For those that know, Adrian is an identical twin. And there was actually a question. Actually, it's good that you're here. Someone asked who is the better looking twin.
Obviously me, it's clear as day.
So what do you reckon?
I don't know. Come down, James. We'll let people decide in the comments. The better looking twin.
Mind you, I haven't got a haircut for about 2 weeks, so...
I like the curly hair, but you let us know. Yeah, someone also said, do you guys have traditional day jobs or is it all social events? Yeah, it's...
You gotta be in it to win it.
Jasmine's Eats, it's Sweet Sundays, and it's Packed. Are you talking to anyone right now?
No, I'm actually not.
Guys,
I actually quite like that. I mean, the better stage right now is if you don't fully align, and you know, I'm not on no dating apps, and I don't think Jasmine is either. So I don't know.
I'm on Raya.
Open to yeah.
I'm on Raya. I'm
There
on
you go.
Raya. It's different. I'm not on Hinge. I'm not on Tinder. We left that back in 2023. But no, we're not talking to anyone.
I mean, open to it, but at the
Whatever
same
happens,
time,
happens,
it's
of
let the
course.
universe do its work. I want to meet someone organically and someone on the same path.
Yeah.
So therefore, I'm on my path, and if someone comes in there and they're on the same, then we're open. But at the same time, I'm not going to go searching because that person might be doing their thing, and I'm over here and they're over there, and we don't want to waste any time. We've got a big year ahead.
Has Adrian picked up anyone this year? This is anonymous, so someone's clearly trying to...
Yes, I have. Oh, this year, no. We're 3 weeks into this year, no.
Yeah, no.
Last time I've seen someone mid-December. That's about it. Didn't last long.
Clearly. Biggest red flags
Biggest red flags?
in a girl, and I'll do in a guy.
This is a great question. Actually, I want to answer this.
Go on then.
The biggest red flag nowadays is a girl and a guy expecting everything. Everyone's so worried about, how can I explain it? Every girl's like, don't settle for this, don't settle for that. Yes, don't settle. But a guy buying you a G-Wagon isn't settling. That's where you need to work on yourself. So everyone these days is worrying about all the things that other person should be doing and telling people how to be in the perfect relationship, but they're not in a relationship. And the best advice and thing I can think of is be your best self, and that will come off in the relationship. So a red flag is a girl going, I expect this from a guy, whether it be, you know, whatever it is, all this crazy shit. But really,
I think when you say that, you say it from when women aren't the best versions of themselves and they're not actively being the woman that would attract that type of guy and are still expecting it.
yeah.
That's where you're coming from. My biggest red flags in a guy is when they're super narrow-minded and they're not willing to be too like He's not narrow-minded.
Not at all.
No. The biggest red flags is when a guy is super narrow-minded and like their opinion it's stuck, they're stuck in their way. I'm always open to other people's opinions, and I think that's the greatest way to learn and to like just broaden your horizons is just by hearing people out, because you never know. And you don't know what you don't know, right? So taking the time to actually listen to people goes a mile.
Red flags is someone that complains about their life all the time and they still do the same thing.
Someone who plays the
over and over.
victim, literally. Someone who plays the victim and doesn't actively do things to change their life.
What's the question? What was the question?
What? Red flags.
Red flags. No, I talk about relationships. No, I was going to say most.
Oh, okay. King of relationships over here, been in one for a few weeks.
Nowadays, the most important thing in a relationship, in this modern time, when everything is instant gratification, discipline.
Discipline was also a really great.
That's the key to a
That's a
successful
green
relationship.
flag.
Because
Green
think
flag.
about it.
Discipline.
If you actually think about it, these days if you're in a relationship, as soon as things get hard, you can jump on social media and get attention.
Yeah.
But a woman that gets attention or a man that gets attention and he's disciplined, they're not going to go outsource feelings or anything else. So when you're disciplined, you stick to yourself, you stick to whatever commitment you have. That's all.
No. What inspires you to want to do and be more?
Deep question. I like this one too. I think that every human being. Well, fun fact. Human race is the only race that doesn't reach their full potential. Everything else in this life, trees, animals, reach their full potential. And I think the fact that, not knowing how far you can go, whether it be your body, business, your mind, whatever, is the most exciting thing. And I think that's it.
That is what makes you want to do and be more.
Yeah. Because you just never know how far you can go.
Yeah.
And plus, you don't want to leave this life. Imagine being on your deathbed, as cheesy as it sounds, and being like, I could have done this, I should have looked like this, I could have met this person, blah, 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 and so on. And then, that's a life lived in regret. And this gets to the end of your life and like, you know what, whether it worked out the way it did or it didn't, you get there and be like, you know what, I tried, and that's it.
And I also feel like for those that have found their purpose and are working toward their purpose, that high that you feel when things actually go your way, although comes with the negative as well, like the more highs you experience, the lower your lows will be. But when you are on that high, it is unmatched. It is the best feeling ever. So I'm like constantly chasing that high, but not in a toxic way, but in a way that every time I overcome a low Sorry, the camera died. So we're in the middle of a question. I think I was saying every time you overcome a low or adversity, you learn. That's okay. You learn so much about yourself and you learn so much about what's important to you, life in general. So as a result of adversity, you just become a better person and you become more tolerable and you like enjoy life a lot more. Like you become a lot more aligned with yourself. So I think that is definitely what pushes me to want to do more and be more. Someone said, who you trying to get with?
I already know this.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not really trying to get with anyone, but I think...
not trying to get with them.
So if you're that girl that's watching...
In an ideal world, is yours...
Yeah, on yours, yeah.
No, yours is...
Yeah, someone Yeah, of course.
And mine, you know mine. Yeah, and what else have we
Maybe
got
we should
here?
just shoot our shot.
No, I'm not ready for that.
But she actually watches this channel, so if you're watching...
I don't know if mine does.
Yeah, well...
I've
seen that one
definitely
in the
not
comments
this.
every now and again. Maybe not this one, but every now and again she's in the comments. So if you're
I
watching...
have to.
Does she have a boyfriend? Maybe she has a boyfriend, I'm not sure, I haven't checked recently.
I don't know, like... Someone said, want to go out this weekend? Absolutely not.
The party days are more or less done, especially for this year, but every now and again in moderation. But now speak for myself, I'm only partying this year when it's time to celebrate.
I have challenged myself not to drink until my book launch, but I'm genuinely contemplating going the whole year without it. Potentially longer. I've been sober curious, not necessarily sober because I dabble in plant medicine. There's actually a question on this as well that I'll get to in a second, but I've been sober when I say just alcohol for a hot minute now, so I'm curious to see how long I can go and to see, I don't know, I might not go back, who knows?
Especially if we launch Sweet Sundays, I'll be getting lit, that's for sure. But in saying that, it's a long time away, not anytime soon.
On that, someone said, does openly smoking green affect brand deals, etc.? Not judging, just that some brands are so damn sensitive nowadays. So for those OGs would know that I used to have a series called Baking Baked, where me and my girlfriends would bake ourselves before we bake. So there's always been some sort of baking series on my page. This one with Adrian just seems to have been the one that has stuck. But I don't do that series, I don't do Baking Baked anymore. And I post some things on my stories about it. I don't promote it, I don't encourage people to dabble in it, but I have a healthy relationship with it.
I think personally, something like that, if you had an audience yourself, you approach it one or two ways, don't you? You approach it one, you do you, and whatever comes to you, and that's what's meant to be.
Yeah.
And two, sometimes if you, depends on what your future plans are, you do have to think strategically and be like, okay, well, maybe my audience isn't going to love it because there's parents that are following and they don't want their kids doing it, but they're like me and they understand how the real world works, but they don't want to see that other side. So
yeah, I was going to say it depends. My objective is not to get as many brand deals as possible under my wing. That's not my objective. I post for me. I post content that I know I love, whether or not the other people do. That's not my problem. That's not my objective. So it really just does depend on your own journey on that. But it plays a big part of my life, so I can't really hide it.
The
And
more
nor am I
authentic
going
you are,
to.
the more you're going to like to other brands anyway.
Exactly. Why does Sweet Sundays have its own page?
Why?
Well,
Because Jasmine also decided that we are going to branch off into a separate page where you got Jasmine Eats and then you got Sweet Sundays. So you get to see her mainly cooking on her page, and then you also got the baking section, which will take the Sweet Sundays. And plus, we are building a brand for ourselves on Sweet Sundays.
Yeah.
And that way, if you're not really interested, you stay on Jasmine Eats, and if you're interested, you watch both.
Adrian and I have decided that we are going to involve the audience of Sweet Sundays in the entire process of product development. So if you're new here, we are going to come out with our own sweet treat of some sort. We will disclose that at a later date. But we've decided to involve you guys from every step. So like
that essentially is going to look like a part of the branding, a part of the process of the product development, and you guys are going to have a massive part from something so simple like branding colors. It might be a color between green and gold and then green and purple, and we're going to get your input, and then we're going to decide which way we want to approach it, because essentially we are building this product for you guys.
Yeah, so if you want to be a part of it and you want to join the community, go follow our page at Sweet Sundays, and you guys can vote what the brand will look like, feel like, what our product will be along the track, along this journey of the product development.
So not only are you going to get sweets, if you're thinking about starting a business, whether it be in any industry, you are going to see firsthand what it's like to actually start a business. You know, it's something I've done before. So this is my second time. This is the first time for Jasmine, and I think it's going to be a great experience for everyone. So stay tuned.
All right, the last question is, and then we're going to sign off. Worst advice you've ever received and why?
I'll let you start thinking about this.
I would always get asked, is that realistic? Someone would say, okay, but is that realistic? Your idea of realistic and my idea of realistic is going to be very, very different. For someone to ask me, like for example, I wanted to move to Sydney off the whim without a job plan, and I just wanted to go down and see, and someone asked me, is that realistic? And I was like, well, for me, yeah. For you, it may not be. When someone tells me to be realistic, I'm like, I am. When your dreams are so big and so scary, you're on the right path. Like that's how big and scary your dream should be, right? You clearly don't see what I see, and that's fine. But I'm not going to take your advice from him.
Preach.
Yeah, what's yours?
Maybe because I don't listen to much people in that sort of side of things. I don't think there's anything in particular I can think of the top of my head right now that someone has told me that was the worst advice. But I do think the best advice is listen to yourself and don't listen to anyone else if they're going against what you think. So if you think you can reach great levels, then go with that. Don't listen to someone else if they're telling you that you can't.
Yeah. James, worst advice you've ever received?
Well, you can't be anything you
Go to school and college.
Well, that's not.
That's also super niche. But anyway, those are the questions for today. Bit of a lengthy one, but for our first Q&A, I think it was necessary. That's it, guys. Thanks for tuning in for our first YouTube video. Be sure to give this video a like, a comment, a share. Hit that subscribe button, which I haven't said yet, and I've always wanted to. My inner 13-year-old is screaming right now. But until the next video, which next week maybe?
I'll say so.
Let us know what else you got, what other types of content you want to see on YouTube down in the comments, and we will do our best to do them.
Sweet Sundays out.
Guys.